Now continuing with section B, continued, which is fractions and decimals. This is operations using fractions and decimals together and using the calculator to find the answer. So we have the calculator. We have 4 different word associations for the different operations. First of all, we have sum. So we have, well, here in the calculator over here, we have the plus sign, the minus sign, the multiplication sign, and the dividing sign. So the way they use it for word problems, the sum means you add. So for instance, if a problem says the sum of 2 and 7, that means 2 plus 7. So the sum means you add. So 2, here's the positive sign, plus sign. So that sum is the sum of 2 and 7 is 2 plus 7, which is 9. The sum of 10 and 4 would be 10 plus 4, which is 14. The sum of 1 and 6 would be 1 plus 6, which is 7. Obviously, the questions on the regions are not like this, but should you know the sum means you add. And you use the plus sign. Difference means you subtract. So if you have the difference of 5 and 2, it means what's the difference between 5 and 2? That means 5 minus 2. Again, you use the minus sign, not the negative sign. You use 5 minus 2, and the answer is 3. 3 is the difference between 5 and 2. The difference of 9 and 6 is 9 minus 6, which is 3. The difference of 11 and 5 is 11 minus 5, which is 6. The product means you multiply. So if they say the product of 3 and 2 means 3 times 2. Times is right here, this the symbol right here, and it comes up, it looks like a little star on the calculator. Sometimes it's on the region, on the worksheet, it comes up as that little dot. The dot represents a product means multiply. So the dot means you multiply, which is 6. The product of 4 and 5 is 4 times 5, which is 20. The product of 1 and 9 is 1 times 9, which is 9. Now we have quotient. Quotient means you divide. Quotient doesn't come up so often, but it comes up. Quotient means you divide. So the quotient of 4 and 2 is 4 divided by 2. So you write 4, and then this sign right here gives you a slash. This is a slash. 4 divided by 2 is 2. The quotient of 12 and 3 is 12 slash 3, which is 4. The quotient of 16 and 4 is 16 slash 4, which is 4. Now in the questions, this is question 31 on section B, continued. On page 4, it says solve and place each expression below into fraction form. So remember, read the instructions carefully. So you want to solve it using the calculator and then place it into fraction form. So we have 31, which is 1/2, and then you have the dash in between two numbers. Therefore, it's a minus sign. So half minus 2, minus 1.2. So the way to get a fraction in the calculator is alpha, y equals, and then enter. Again, it's alpha, this button right here, alpha, y equals, enter, will give you a fraction. 1 over 2 is a fraction. So you do alpha, y equals, and enter. So alpha, y equals, enter. You get the fraction. And then on top, you're going to put a 1. On the bottom, you put a 2. You then have the dash sign, which is a minus sign because it's in between two numbers. So therefore, that's a minus sign, minus. And then you have 1.2. So you have 1.2, 1 point. This is the decimal, 0.2 right here. You then click enter, and you get negative 0.7. But the instructions say place it into fraction form. So how do you get it into fraction form? You go to math. You click math right here. And the first one that shows up, it says FRAC. I don't have it here, but you click math. And then it comes up as FRAC, which is frac. You then click enter right here. So you do math, and then you click on the frac button, which says FRAC, and then you press enter, and you get the fraction. It's going to give you answer and then dash frac. You then click answer again, and you get negative 7 over 10, and that is your answer. Negative 7 over 10 is your answer. Now we have the next question, 32. 32, you have the dash sign is in front of the operation. Dash sign is in front of the operation. Therefore, it's a negative sign, right? If it's either in front of the operation or if it's after a open parentheses, it's going to be negative. So over here we have negative, so it's going to be negative. Right here is the negative button. Negative. The negative sign comes up as a little line, sometimes a little bit higher up towards the number, negative 1.5. And then you have the dot, which means multiply. So the dot means you multiply. In algebra, we use the dot to simplify multiplying. So we have multiply. Dot is the multiply, negative 1.5 multiplied. And then we have the fraction 2 over 5. Again, to get a fraction is alpha, y equals, and then you click enter. So it's alpha, y equals, and then you click enter. And you get 2 over 5, right? So you get the fraction, this line over here. You then put 2 on top. Then you click down to get to the denominator, down over here. You then click 5, and then you click enter, and you get negative 0.6. Now you want to turn it into a fraction form. So you go to math. This is the math button right here. And then you click FRAC. You click math first, and then a screen will show up, and you have FRAC. You then click enter, and you get answer, this arrow, and then frac. You click answer again. You'll get negative 6 over 10. And that is your answer to number 32. 33, the difference of 1.2 and the fraction 1 over 3. The difference, I gave it to you over here. The difference means you subtract. Sum means you add. Difference means you subtract. Product means you multiply. And quotient means you divide. So the difference of 1.2 and 1 over 3 is 1.2. So 1.2 and 1 over 3. So you do the minus sign. Right here is the minus sign right here. And then you do a fraction, alpha y equals, and then enter. Alpha y equals, then enter. And you get 1 over 3. You put the 1 on top, and then you go down over to the right, and you get the denominator, and you put the number 3. You then click enter. You get 0.86667. You then click math over here, and you get FRAC. It says frac in the window, and then you click enter again. And it'll come up as 13 over 15. Once you click enter, it shows up this right here. You then click enter a second time, and you'll get 13 over 15 as your answer. 34, the sum of 1 over 6 and negative 1 over 4. This is a negative sign because it's in between a single number. So it's going to be 1 over 6. So it's going to be 1. It's going to be alpha y equals and enter. 1 over 6, so 1 on top, 6 on the bottom. Sum means you add, so it's the plus sign. Here's the plus sign right here. And then you have then really when you put a negative number, you should really put it in parentheses when it's a negative. I don't do it here, but you should really put it in parentheses whenever you have a negative number. So it's going to be parentheses, open parentheses, and then you have negative, and then alpha y equals and enter, and then you do 1 over 4. It should really be, if you have a negative number, see this says negative 1 over 4, you should really put this whole thing in parentheses. So it should be 1 over 6 plus, open parentheses, negative 1 over 4, close parentheses, and then enter. I didn't do it over here, but that's what you should do. And you get the answer is negative 1 over 12 is the answer. The product of 1 over 5 and 2.3. So again, you do alpha y equals and enter. You get 1 over 5. Alpha y equals and enter. You get 1 over 5. And then it says the product. Product means you multiply. So you click the times button right here. This is the multiplication button. And in the calculator, it'll come out like a star. I wrote a dot, but that means product. It means you multiply. So 1 over 5 times and 2.3. Here's 2.3. Then click enter, and you get 0.46. You want to turn it into a fraction form. So you go to math, and then you click the frac button. It says FRAC in that window. After you click math, it'll say FRAC. And then you click enter again, and you'll get the answer, which is, you click enter again, 23 over 50 is the answer. During the quotient means you divide. So the quotient of 1/5 and 2 over 3 will be alpha y equals and enter. And then you click 1 over 5. The quotient means you divide. So this button right here, which is divide. The quotient you divide. And 2 over 3. So alpha y equals and enter. 2 over 3. So the quotient of 1 over 5, which is a fraction, and 2 over 3, a fraction, is 1 over 5. Quotient means you divide. Divided by, that's the slash sign. And then alpha y equals and enter. Again, 2 over 3. You click enter, and you get 3 over 10. It's already in fraction form, so you don't need to put it into a fraction form using the calculator. It's already in fraction form, 3 over 10. Here are the answers to the rest of the questions, and that is how you do the rest of section B.